Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP, and joining me in this Monday evening, my good man, Mr. Alan Stirling. Good evening, Alan. How are you, mate?
Aye, very well. Hope you're well, JP. Hope everyone that's watching's well. Good weekend. The fairy tale finish that I think everybody would be looking for with good man James Forrest getting his goal eventually. He even had to wait to kind of very, very late on in the game to the last league game of the season. So maybe it's a long league season, so maybe know the performance we're looking for. St Mirren came with a game plan to set up and kind of try and frustrate. We weren't maybe at our kind of fast flowing, fluent best, but it was a great way to finish a trophy day. Seeing the wee man kind of get that goal for the 16th consecutive season. So big congratulations to him, and he gets done as a Celtic legend.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody that's tuning in with us, as Alan says. Hope you're well also. Great weekend weather-wise for us all. It's been fun, dabby dozy. As Alan just said there, folks, Celtic wrapped up the league title and trophy day in a draw against St Mirren. And it was a spectacular moment watching Celtic's most decorated player finally get his goal in the last kind of kick of the ball day of the season. As Brendan says, it was kind of written in the stars, I think, for the wee man to be able to sum it up that way. Let's see who's joining us tonight, Alan. We've got Anne Jem in the good evening, JP Alan in the chat. Hope everyone's sobered up, apart from Ryan, of course. Theo Isaac as well. Good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Joseph Agnew. Hail, JP and Alan. Hope you both are well. Same to yourself, pal. G-Doc. Good evening, all. Ronnie Pickering says, hail, Celts. Chris Money also in. Evening, boys, in the chat. Champions again, ole. And our good man, as Andy mentioned, Ryan, he said, hi, lads. Hola from El Benidorm.
He's writing that in. He's going to fall off. He's getting a backie off his match in Benidorm. He'll be scooter. So he's going to fall off. Just wait, what you're doing, Ryan?
I know, Madge's going to give him a backie, but Johnny Vegas is trying to hold him up at the back.
So yeah, I watched what you're saying. We've seen some of these videos through the day, and I think everybody in the audience everybody that's tuning in would be glad to know that they didn't get to see it, because I think I'm pretty scarred for life now. So all the best to Ryan, and I hope he's having a cracking time. Looks at that point, and I think he'll be suffering for a wee while after this. He's drinking escapades.
We all know he takes bad hangovers, don't we? So he's going to be. He'll be dying he'll need a holiday when he comes back for that holiday. James Kennedy in as well. He said, evening, JP and Alan. I think I said something else there. I don't know why. Chris Murray. Good evening, Ryan. Enjoy your holiday. Don't encourage him. Do not encourage him.
End up in Costa Rica or something.
Aye, 100%. He'll end up on a boat trip somewhere and end up somewhere in Costa Blanca. Stuck somewhere in the Costa Brava even. But George is in as well.
He'll be hanging about with Luis Suarez or something next week. It'll be something random.
Try to bite people.
Aye.
Aye. All right, boys in the chat. This is how it feels to be Celtic, as Brendan says. What another beautiful season to you guys as well. Good evening, as I said. So as I said, it's a great way to sum up Saturday, Alan. Let's get right into it. Celtic draw 1 each with St Mirren. Fair play to St Mirren. I mean, they came out like a caged animal. They were still fighting for their lives. I think they were still up trying to get a European place. It was just unfortunate Dundee United also get the victory at Aberdeen, against Aberdeen, should I say, that secured their status there. St Mirren set up a game plan, mate. And I thought as the game progressed, Celtic started to even going the goal down. I felt Celtic were always in top. We kind of fell short for me in the final third on Saturday, Alan, a few times because sometimes it was overplay, sometimes it wasn't enough, sometimes we just weren't playing that killer pass. But for me, Alan, overall, mate, I think it was a day that, you know, it was always going to be a special day no matter what. They're lifting the trophy at the end of it. And it was a day we probably, it's one of those days, mate, I think you can get away with going, do you know what, lads, you didn't have to play well because the hard work was already done. We were just going to be rewarded that day for the amount of muscle and work that they had to put into the season.
Yeah, it's a celebration day, so we can't be massively critical about the players. As we say, we've managed to finish kind of 17 points clear, and we're on course for a domestic treble. We've done reasonably well in Europe, so when you assess the season as a whole, when you look at the outcome of each competition, then it was very good. When you look at, we're here to speak about the game and at the weekend there, so when you look at St Mirren, where there was a chance that if they get a point, then if the D United get beat, that would have put them into 5th place. So I think they were setting up along the lines to start with, and when they get the goal, let's be honest, I think the whole back four can take a bit of the blame there.
Yeah. 100%, mate.
I think you're looking at kind of Sloop and Trusty especially, but I spoke to you the other day. I think when you dig into it a wee bit further, you're looking at Ralston maybe could have cut that ball out before it goes in. I think the same for Narovski as well, but then when the ball actually goes in towards Trusty and Sloop, I think they'll watch that back and think that what we tell there that's going to be a lot better. So I don't think Brendan will be necessarily happy with that. But we come back into the game in the first half as well. I don't know if you know. I'm just saying this. I don't want criticism. I don't want this to be another ladder me tonight. But I don't know if you noticed. But there was one time, I think it was just after they scored, and we were playing. We were about 2/3 up the park. We were playing the ball about, and he's standing about 10 yards offside, just walking about. And I was like, on Twitter, it's been noticed a few times, but I was like, what are you doing? The bare minimum we're expecting there is that you're looking for 100% effort. That kind of annoyed me. I think the overall game for the whole team, it was probably just, it was what it was. It's a kind of celebration day. I think that probably a lot of them in holiday mode, shall we say, at present. So, as I say, we don't want to criticise too much, but when you're looking into the game, St Mirren under their managers always extremely kind of well set up. They're always well organised.
Yep.
So it's always going to be difficult to kind of break them down. They're one of the more difficult teams to break down. But I think if we got a goal earlier, then it might have changed up things. I think we probably would have went on to win the game. But I just glad for James to get that goal. Celebrations, and hopefully we kick on for the big game next weekend.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're spot on, Alan. I think I felt that being at the game on Saturday. I felt some of them were just going through emotions as if, you know, it looked like they were in holiday mode, as you said. Again, I'm not going to be over critical about it because, I mean, it's hard to criticise a team that I've just delivered the 4-in-a-row championship to us as a fan, and I think the switching off for the goal as well, that comes, again, a lack of concentration in the moment. St Mirren, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this before, but St Mirren, they're a very, very physical team, you know, and they're really big lads. And that's the first time I really took notice. And I always felt there was going to come a point again, and I said this about Hibs as well, when they were trying to play that high press against us at Celtic Park in the high back line and try to play the offside trap. When you've got big guys who are quite bulky and not necessarily quickest on the turn, Alan, I feel personally, mate, that there comes a point in a game, mate, where they start to tire. And that's what happens with the big lads at St Mirren. Again, the lethargicness starts to kick in because they've put that much into the game. You know, they're too busy thinking about stopping Celtic from doing what they do. And I think that's what we saw on Saturday. Albeit they managed to get us on the counter with a set piece that we get undone by again. Just for me, Alan, you talk about James Forrest at the start there. I felt that the game changed in Celtic's favour even more when James Forrest and Yang both came on. Even with Luke McCown, because then Celtic looked to play forward. There wasn't so many sideward passes and going back the way. Yang and James Forrest inject a bit of speed and a bit of energy out in the wide areas. It just takes Celtic forward. And for me, mate, that's when I thought we started getting joy in and around the box, because Yang and James Forrest were coming inside the field. They were also switching wings, but they were coming inside the field with the ball and drifting at pace. And see, when you get two guys who can do that, Alan, for me, because not necessarily Kuhn and Maeda can't, but in the first half, Kuhn and Maeda just weren't, they weren't giving us that, that energy and that kind of burst. So, again, not to be too critical, but for me, that was something I noticed, especially in the second half, that when Yang and Forrest came on, Celtic started to play forward and again started to pick holes, because for me, these guys have got that quality, Alan. They can just open you up, and if you give them that much you stand off them and you let them face you up, you're in serious trouble, mate.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we lacked the last third. We lacked a bit of intensity, a bit of kind of you wanting to kind of go right for St Mirren. I think it was a bit too kind of lacklustre, as you say. It was just kind of passing side to side a lot without much penetration. Jan did okay for me. I thought Forrest was exceptional. I was very surprised that Forrest didn't start the game. I think the last few weeks he's probably been one of our best players, if not our best player in the last kind of 3-4 games, I'd say.
Yeah,
He's not had the same amount of game time as others, possibly. So I thought he would have started there, and I definitely think that he should be starting the cup final. I think you're looking at, if you've got a choice between kind of maybe 5 players for the 3 positions. You've got Maeda, Forrest, Ida, Kuhn and Yang. I think you're looking at Maeda and Forrest should be the first 2 in there, and then whoever's next to them, then so be it. If that's going to be Kuhn, Ida or Yang. But I think definitely with his performances recently, with how he just seems to be using his intelligence to get by players as well. He might be at an age that he's maybe lost that kind of half-yard of pace, but he's still able to kind of get by players and really cause the opposition problems. I don't know if you agree, but for me, I think it's imperative that he starts the game in the cup final. I think he deserves it.
Who would you take out the team, Alan? That's actually quite interesting. Who would you take out the team for James? Would you say Kuhn would come out the team, or what would you do there?
I think it's probably going to be Kuhn or Ida, I would think. It's a close one. I think the last maybe 3 or 4 games ago, Kuhn started to come onto a game as well. But you're looking maybe the last game or 2, has he dropped off slightly again? Possibly. So I think it's a close one between. I would definitely be playing Maeda and Forrest, and I think that either Kuhn or Ida's going to come in and join them. If I had to judge what I think Brendan will do, I think he'll start in the cup final. I think it will be probably Maeda, Forrest, and Ida. But if Kuhn
You're going to team prediction now, big man. You're a bit early.
I know. That's been a giant fall line, but I don't know. It's a close one between Kuhn and Ida who'd come in to join Maeda and Forrest, but I think we just the form that James Forrest has shown, how electric he's been, how impressive he's been even when he's coming on off the bench. I think it'd be extremely harsh on him if he didn't start that game, because I think he thoroughly deserves to start that cup final based on his form.
Yeah, I think you're in me a shout there. But as it is a Monday night and it is a dial-in, it's time to get our first caller of the evening in. Here he is. It's a man well known to the people now, and he's certainly dressed for the occasion tonight. It is indeed Mr. Francis Lester. Good evening, mate.
Evening, lads. How you doing, boys? All right?
Not too bad, mate. How's you and how's your weekend?
Great, I know, had a great weekend. I enjoyed the game Saturday. I mean, obviously the football was a bit of a non-event to the last, till James Forrest came on, basically, wasn't it? I think when we woke up, the rest of it was just a non-event. It was a typical last game of the season. It's all done with performance. But as soon as St Mirren scored, then obviously we made the changes, went up a gear. I knew we were going to score. I just felt it. I felt it was coming. It was definitely coming. I mean, that keeper had 2 brilliant saves, and there was a couple of last-minute blocks as well, So, but we only started to really penetrate and make the chances in the last. When Forrest came on, like you said earlier, I thought he was excellent again. And for me, I would start with Forrest in the cup final. Kuhn, I think he's much more direct than Kuhn. Kuhn, for me, the last few weeks I've noticed he's got back. He's went back to that cutting inside all the time. He never went to the byline once in that first half. I sat right at his side in the main stand, as you know, JP, and everybody about was saying, "Stop cutting inside. That guy knows exactly what you're going to do. He's going to force you to come inside all the time." You know what I mean? And but as soon as Forrest came on, man, he was switching it. He was going inside, he was going outside, he was inside, he was going outside again. That boy was spinning like a top. I thought he was superb again. I thought he was superb against Aberdeen. And for me, I think he deserves a start in the cup final. A great player to bring on, but I would definitely bring him on.
Francis, I think it was concerning. See, when you looked, I was looking at the statistics for up to 85 minutes. We had 1 shot on target on the 5th minute, I think, with Dyson Maida up to that point. I think the last 5 minutes plus injury time, we added another kind of 4 or 5. It was like St Mirren were really starting to tire. We were starting to kind of turn the screw a bit. With guys like Forrest and Yang. But for us to have kind of 1 shot on target in the first 85 minutes, I know it's kind of celebration time and it's maybe no one to look into further, but that was a kind of concerning start. I'd say that we had 1 shot on target for that.
I know, I agree. No, I agree, Alan, I agree. I think the other thing again, it was roasting hot on Saturday. That heat was incredible. I mean, I'm sitting in the shade and the sweat was coming at me like, I better not say that in life. But it was roasting, and I'm thinking they're running about like dudes we need in this heat, So it was as I said, the first, for me, 70 minutes were basically forgettable. There's no much I remember for that first 70 minutes at all that I'll ever remember for the game, but I'll remember Forrest goal. It was superb. It felt like a win. Felt like a win when that ball went,
The way the kind of stadium,
whole stadium went up.
The whole stadium erupted when he scored. But I think it was just the elation for him, with that being 16 consecutive titles now and 16 consecutive league campaigns for James Forrest. He's not failed to kind of score. I mean, the only other player I've ever known to do that is Ryan Giggs.
Paul McStay, about
Paul
that.
McStay, yeah, I think he did. I think he might be right.
Is he called Paul McStay's record there? So let's see. He could be.
There's another Celtic player in it as well. Who was it? There's 3 now. I've done it.
Bobby Lennox.
There's another one. Oh God, it's went out my brain. But it was great also to see Jamesy meeting Bobby, the buzz bomb at the end. My wee pal Bobby. I've got my photo taken with him when I was a young boy. I was sitting beside. I was there. He was sitting beside me with his sticky on.
Francis wasn't a wee boy when Bobby Petter played with Celtic, Alan. Come on.
Bobby Lennox. Bobby Lennox. He was sitting me. He came up to see the guy that I used to work for, and he invited me up to his office, and he had his sticky on because John Gregg had broke his leg 3 days before at Ibrox, and I had been at the game, and that was one of my claims to fame is I signed Bobby's sticky.
All right, okay.
I got his autograph. He said, "You want to sign my sticky?" And I said, "Aye, right." And I signed his sticky.
Wow.
Brilliant. That was I'll tell you what, 1979. I think it was 1979, 78, 79. That was amazing, man.
By the way, I've seen a photo of him at the weekend. He's lost a fair bit of weight. I don't know if he's been unwell or...
No, he has been unwell, JP. I mean, he's well in
the face and stuff.
He's well in his 80s. He's been struggling recently. He has been struggling recently. But it was great to see him up at the park, and his family, I believe, got a really good reception.
Yeah.
After the game and all that, and it was brilliant to see the wee man up there, because I've been kind of worrying about maybe the next one we hear will be on to join the rest of the other boys, you know what I mean? Because he's getting to that age now, you know what I mean? Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow, as it
How
is.
many is there in them left? Is there only 3 of them left?
Jim Craig, Bobby
Jim
Lennox,
Craig and Wally Wallace.
and Wally Wallace, and he's in Australia.
There's only 3 of them that's left, isn't it? Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Aye.
The rest
Wow,
of them-
that's astonishing. Aye, the rest of them have all passed away. Alan, no, as Francis touches on there in terms of Nicholas Kuhn, mate, I think that's a fair shout because there's been several Celtic fans talking about Nicholas Kuhn and he's slightly dipping form. Now we know wingers at the best of times are probably the most inconsistent out of all the players. Nicholas Kuhn gave us a great season. I do apologise. My apologies. It's no John Clark's still alive as well.
John Clark, aye, sorry, aye, John Clark.
John Clark.
Christ
So
almighty.
thanks for that, Salt and Shake. So I do apologise, folks, if I've upset anybody there. Sligo boys told us as well, John Clark.
Me,
So
you know that, I know. I met John Clark a few times.
the old Celtic kit man, of course. Know what I mean? For many years.
McDonald don't lose at Treble by announcing deaths because he
I
is.
know,
what I mean?
I know. We just done an Aaron Ramsey. No. I think with Nicholas Kuhn, I think it's a fair shout. You know, he's gave us a great return. He's one of the 3 players to go down in history this season since 1976, 77, I think it is. There's 3 players in our squad over 20 goals this season. So the kind of forward line that started the game, Alan, they've gave us a great season overall with goals and what they've chat 60 odd goals between the 3 of them. So phenomenal. So, but I do think that, you know, James Forrest, listen, he's not doing himself any harm there at all, and I think he's really and truly chapping that door, mate.
No, definitely. I think cool. We spoke about him a couple of weeks ago that he maybe wasn't playing up to the level that he's shown, and then he scored and started all that, and we were, oh, do you necessarily agree with that? I think it was Francis we spoke to actually. Aye, well, he's not doing that at the weekend there because he certainly didn't do anything enough to celebrate like that at the weekend. But it has been a long season. He has had exceptional parts of the season. Like you said, there is wingers that they're not always the most consistent kind of player when you look at that position, shall we say. But when you're looking at, I think just how extremely well that Forrest has played the last number of games. I just think it'd be extremely harsh if he wasn't starting at the weekend. I think he probably merits it over, as I said earlier too. I think him and Maida should be the first 2 out of that 3. The top 3 up top.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, only kind of Brendan will make that decision. But I think you'd feel extremely hard done by if you're James Forrest, considering the way you've played over the last few games. I think he definitely merits a place in that starting 11 at the weekend.
Obviously, Francis, touching on Nicholas Kuhn there, do you think it's one that it's certainly given Brendan food for thought? Because obviously James Forrest continuing to play well. We've seen that in the last couple of games there. He got his goal at the weekend. But you look at Nicholas Kuhn, I know, listen, everybody wants a place in that cup final team. You'd be disappointed if you didn't start the game, or you certainly weren't considered for it. But do you think there is a potential there for Nicholas Kuhn to drop to the bench for the game on Saturday?
I think Brendan will play him. I think Forrest will be on the bench. I mean, but if it was me, if it was my choice, I would put Forrest in. But I don't think Brendan will. I think he'll start with Kuhn. I think he want to show him a bit of because going forward, obviously. Forrest, you've got to look at it. He's really had his career with Celtic, and we'll probably get another season out of him. Maybe I think we will, but I think he'll play Kuhn and Forrest will go on the bench. I think Maeda will definitely be in the left, and I think he's going to go with Ida again, isn't he? Because I don't think we've got anybody else up front to change that, you know, unless he brings. Unless he brings Yang into the picture, but I don't see that happening either. I think Yang will be in the bench. The team that played I mean, you've got Johnny Kenny there as well. I mean, Johnny was unlucky. He got through that, we burst through, and the keeper made two. That was two of the saves I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The game for Johnny Kenny, you know. He done brilliant to get onto the ball, you know. And it was a bit of an angle, so the keeper, it was kind of easy for the keeper to kind of spread himself and block them, you know. It's still a good save, mind you, but you've got Kenny again. I don't think he would start. We could definitely not start with Kenny. Put Kenny on the bench as well. I think it'll basically be the same team Saturday, to tell you the truth. I think that's why he played. He started with that team Saturday. I think it'll be the same team. And put it this way, I think it was a harder game on Saturday than it will be against Aberdeen. I just don't rate Aberdeen at all now. I've seen their game again. They were rotten again. I think we'll give them a tanking again. I just feel it. I feel a real tanking coming on for them in the final. Yeah,
I think it's an interesting one Francis touches on there, Alan, regarding being the same team. I don't know if it was just me or the way, as Francis says, the weather taking over and how hot it was, and the way maybe some of us were feeling at the game, because Francis isn't far wrong, mate, to keep well hydrated, because it was a day that we were all struggling in terms of the heat and everything else. And if you didn't have sun cream on, then I would imagine you'd get a doing with the sun on Saturday. Anybody
like JP?
So, well, a bit like me, I got a doing plenty of it on Saturday, that's for sure.
That face like Winston.
And I got a doing by the way, and I got a doing and all, by the way, not just the sun. No, it's interesting, as Francis says, he thinks he'll keep the same team, Alan, for the weekend. I don't think. I think the midfield will change again. I'm being honest. Maybe it was just me, Alan. I don't know how you feel on this, but I just thought Bernardo's fitness overall told on him on Saturday there. I thought by the time he was coming off, mate, he was blowing a wee bit. And I don't know if it's just due to lack of games. And overall, I'm not sure if he done enough. I thought Luke McCown done very well when he came on, mate, because as I said, he was one of the three that made, when he made those subs at the same time, he was one of the three that came on, and Celtic started to play forward and started picking holes in St Mirren's backline when they changed from a back five to the back four and then back to the five. So I really think Luke McCown's not done his chances any harm at all, Alan, in there.
Possibly. I think that Bernardo might have just needed to run it. He's not had a great deal of football when you
I get that side as well.
So I wouldn't be massively surprised if Brendan, he seems to kind of, I'm not what to say his favourites, because obviously he likes James Forrest as well, but he seems to have in his head a kind of a team lineup that he likes to stick with. Francis might be completely right that he might put out the same team as we've seen at the weekend there. Personally, I think Bernardo, when he's fit, kind of tends to offer you a bit more than Luke McCown. I'm not saying Luke McCown is a very good squad player.
Mm-hmm.
He did look decent when he came on as well, but I think when Bernardo's own song, his kind of ceiling's possibly higher than what Luke McCown is. I think he could offer you slightly more. It is going to be a straight kind of choice between the two of them, I think, because obviously with Hatate being out, you've not really got many other players that you think that would come in unless he changes up the system, which is extremely unlikely when you look at kind of Brendan Rodgers in the past. So I could see kind of both ends of that, but I think that he'll start with Bernardo. I just think Bernardo offers you that wee bit more than McCown, personally.
Francis, obviously, to add to the Bernardo argument there, mate, I don't know how you feel in terms of Saturday. I just thought it was probably right that he came out. I thought he was running out of steam.
No, it possibly was, but I think Alan's right. I think he's needed games. He's not been getting any games. He's only had two bit parts in the last two. You know what I mean? You need to get up to that match fitness, and he's nowhere near it. I mean, he's out for a long time, JP. You know what I mean? You don't come back, 60 minutes here and then 60 minutes there, and all of a sudden you're totally match fit, And as I say, the weather played a great deal into that as well with the I think you need that build up a stamina and strength in your play when you're going to, to stick out there for the 90 minutes. You know what I mean? And I think that's the only reason he probably didn't last the whole match. But I agree, McCowan came on, done well. He had a good chance as well. There's another chance that we had for McCowan. But no, listen, I wouldn't be unhappy with McCowan being in if he did do that, because I think he's a cracking wee player, and he's got plenty of heart. And I know sometimes he gets caught in possession, but again, I think he's a wee bit like Hatate in that way. He wants to try things. He wants to try and beat the player. You know what I mean? He doesn't shy away from. He's not like Taylor. You face up Taylor, he'll turn around, place the ball back. Face up Scales, he'll turn around and play the ball back. You know what I mean? He'll try and do the positive thing before he'll do the negative thing, and that's what I like about that. I like that part of his game. He's pretty direct and pretty positive. So I wouldn't be upset if McCowan gets a shout.
Yeah, there was definitely one on Saturday. Sorry, Alan, I'll bring you in a check, mate. There was definitely one with Luke McCowan where he's people say he's dilly-dallying. He's kind of trying to scan to see what the next pass is, but I think it's the boy Mark O'Hara nips in and takes the ball from him at the weekend. Mm-hmm. But as Francis says there, Alan, Luke McCowan, he doesn't shy away, mate. He actually nips back and gets the ball, shields the ball and gives it to Callum McGregor, and Celtic start again. So he actually wins that. He loses possession of the ball, but he then chases after it, gets the ball back and gives it back to McGregor, Alan. So I think Luke McCowan, being one of us for a start, he's came in the summer. He's contributed not just with assists, he's scored some goals for us as well. So overall, it's been a pretty decent season for him as well, considering where he's came from.
I think he's had a great season, considering he's came from Dundee and considering we've only paid £1 million for him.
Yeah,
I think he's paid that back kind of a few times over by kind of some of his performances as well. I think that's a proper bargain that we've had with Luke McCowan, but I think he's a great squad player. If Celtic are trying to kind of progress forward and move forward, is he going to get in ahead of either Engels, Hatate or Callum McGregor or anybody we bring in the summer? I think that's probably doubtful. He will play his part because, as we've said many a times, we're playing kind of 60, 65 games a season, so he comes in, he's probably going to come on most of the games. I think we've seen most of the time he gets 20 minutes, half an hour. In some of the games when there's rotation, you're seeing him coming in for the start. But I just think he's possibly lacking that level that we've got, and we're main three that we're starting. But that's not a criticism towards him. We paid £1 million for him, and he's done fantastically well. I was just kind of thinking about the game and asking Francis, what did you make of the St Mirren goal? I know I'd mentioned the St Johnstone goal earlier, definitely, but with Liam Scales, I know I've just remembered that with Liam Scales, he done that ball out. Get mixed up with the games, they're that quick together. But Liam Scales, should he be heading that out the park? He's heading it directly to the St Mirren player. What's your thoughts on that, guys? How should he be dealing better with that?
I think he just threw his head on it. I don't think he didn't really think about what was in front of him. He was just trying to clear it, so I wouldn't put as much blame on him.
Just up and down, put it out, kind of. I would probably say, but he's just put it right into.
I actually thought Liam Scales dealt well with the big boy Ayunga. I thought he dealt well with his physical presence on Saturday. I actually thought overall he had pretty much a good game, and then, like you say, Alan, that moment comes and it's Celtic fans are, they're pinning that on the big man, and I agree with Francis. I think he's not meant to. I think it's his lack of purchase he's been able to get on it in the moment, and unfortunately it's felt to I was ready to say the same as you, Alan. I was ready to say a St Johnstone player there, but no, I said Mirren player. No, mate, the game we've played that many games. Exactly, we've played that many games.
Playing, and look, Wesley playing either. That's all a bit. Then I went, oh, that's Wednesday. I went, oh, that was the goal.
When he came on as well.
So apologies, guys.
Schlupp was terrible.
Schlupp, when he came on.
Did you notice the one, Francis? Did you notice the one on Saturday when he came on and lost the ball at the halfway line and then he was miles out of position? That was down your side.
Aye, that's right.
And it was like
he's like running about thinking, oh, well, I'm just here to collect a trophy at the end of the season.
That was just one of the ones. It was like he just keyed in and it was like,
Aye.
mate, get a rocket up your
What are you
backside and get after that. You've just gave the ball away.
Aye, I know. I was like, well, and they did the same thing the other night against, what do you call them? That wee team for up north, wasn't it?
Aberdeen.
For me, he fell right out of the picture. You know, I think he'll be off at the end of the season.
No, I think Ryan's put in a wee comment there, just saying he agrees with you, Francis. He said they wouldn't sign him, so obviously that's one of the players. I agree. I do think. Alan, I don't know about yourself, mate. Yeah,
He started off well, and then I think he looks decent going forward. But I think it's a lot left to be desired when he's defending, I think. And when he was coming in, we were thinking, oh, he's got a bit more of a stature than maybe the likes of Greg Taylor. Maybe he's going to be kind of more solid defensively, but I'm struggling to see that a bit at the minute. So I think he looked decent, and that's how he kind of took Greg Taylor out of the team when he first came in. But I think when you're seeing him over the whole kind of 6 months that he's been here, I would tend to agree with Ryan there and say that we should just kind of let him go.
Lastly, for yourself, Francis, obviously, Greg Taylor looks to have played his final game now for Celtic. Looking at his messages on social media and stuff, I've lived it, loved it, and basically, you know, more or less, yeah. It never said those words, but you know, but what's your thoughts in terms of Greg Taylor moving on?
Well, with Kieran coming back, I'm looking forward to seeing Kieran back in that position anyway. But we do need quality cover for him as well, because he's not a young boy anymore that's going to batter up and doing that wing the way he did in the beginning. I mean, it's 6 years later, 5-6 years later. I still think he's got plenty of pace and plenty of life in him, but you still need the same kind of quality. And so they've been good to kind of hold on to Taylor and keep him especially for the league games. You know, Tierney, I think, would play the Champions League games if hopefully that we qualify. But I think if Taylor doesn't stay, then we need to really look at getting another quality player to step into that position to cover for Kieran. But I think we need that in a couple of positions. I think we'll see a lot of changes in the summer, to tell you the truth. I think there'll be a few players off that they'll be, you know, people will be surprised about in the summer. I think there'll be a few off.
Because I've just mentioned that a few times, Francis. I think there was a figure floating about that says it was like 5 or 6 players we're looking to kind of bring in.
I think the other players have definitely done what they can do here, and there's not much more they can do. I mean, I'd love Maeda to sign a new contract and stay, but I can see if a big English Premiership club comes in with silly money, I think he'll be off. The same could be said of Hatate as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is going to take silly money, I think, for Maeda, mate. I think he's still got a couple of years left on his current deal now, so yeah.
I think to attract that kind of attention, it would need to be big money, you know, because he's done that well. Plus, he's done it in the European stage as well. So everybody has been raving about him. You know, I mean, I've watched some of the commentaries with the English commentators when Celtic have been playing, and they're like, this guy never stops. And I've heard other talking about him online as well, about the speed of him. And you know, I think there will be. There's a possibility we might not have him next year, you know. So I think there will be big changes. I've got a funny feeling. I think there has to be as well, because I think there's a lot of players that need to move on now. You know, they've done their best for Celtic, but there's a right few that, for me, need to go.
Yeah, every player. Listen, players have sealants, and they have like a shelf life with clubs, don't they? And then they kind of move on to different challenges. But again, Francis, we'll just need to wait and see. But listen, thank you very much, mate, for taking the time with us again on Monday evening.
Just before you go, JP, there's a terrible crackle coming through your mic.
I don't know if it was whose it is.
Is that okay now?
Aye.
No, I don't know if it's Alan or JP. Talk, Alan.
Hello.
Give it 1 2 1 2.
It's definitely not me.
Oh, it's quite bad. I don't know what's causing that. I can hear it.
All right, okay.
Electricity.
Well, we'll back you off if it's you, then good stuff, then,
Right,
right?
okay. Francis, well, thanks very much, mate.
I'm going to
cheers,
think about
Francis.
chocolate now.
Cheers, mate. Okay.
Right, have a good one, mate.
Have
Take
a good
care.
one, mate. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
cheers.
Bye-bye, mate. Hail. Cheers to Francis for coming on
That's
and having a
Francis.
chat with us tonight. Was it Francis?
Must be. It's away now.
The noises are
Unless
very.
it was just
I could
it
hear
might
it
have
at
not
the
been
tail
his
end,
phone,
like.
it might have been a connection through whatever StreamYard or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's away
I
now.
could hear it. I could hear it through at the tail end of that there. Right, okay, so we'll just get right into it. Our second caller of the evening is indeed our man John M. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Evening, lads. How are we?
Yeah.
Aye,
all right.
fantastic, yeah.
Good.
There we go.
Aye, all right. Brand new.
Good stuff.
Had a great
How was your-
weekend.
That's good to hear. What was so good about your weekend? Was it the fact that Celtic wrapped up 4 in a row, or did you have something else
Yes,
in
no,
mind?
the fact that Celtic wrapped up 4 in a row. And I was at the game to witness it. So, as you know, you were with me.
Yeah. Okay. What did you enjoy about it? What was because I remember talking to you at half time and you weren't too engrossed with football.
Well, the football. Well, you know yourself. You were at the game or you watched the game. I mean,
Yeah.
the football in the first half was dire. You know what I mean? It was. It really was. But
Danny.
the spectacle. I mean, you're going to expect that because it's end of the season game. You know what I
What do you
mean?
put it down to? What do you put it down to? Do you put it down to the players maybe title mode and holiday mode that day, or?
Basically, I mean, a lot of it goes down to, like, you know, it's the last league game of the season, to be honest. So, but I think that after they went a goal down, they kind of stepped up to the mark. But the game changed for me when they brought Jamesy Forrest on and they brought Yang on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the plays you probably watched or if you were at the game, was all going backwards and sidewards, and the forward pass was getting cut out. But when they brought Jamesy Forrest on and they brought Yang on, they went more direct. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put a bit of pace and a bit of oomph into the game, and I think that changed the whole complexion of the game for me. And Jamesy took his goal well. I mean, I was screaming at AJ to shoot.
So was I.
and he laid it off to Jamesy. Well, perfect layoff. The wee man just scalped in a bottom corner. Brilliant goal.
Yeah.
And you could see his celebration of what it meant to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Alan, as I said earlier on, like that was a noticeable differences for me when the two white boys came on, and Yang's first go-to when he came on the pitch was to stand up Marcus Fraser. Now that hadn't been done all day. No, I diss on Maeda at all because he's been tremendous this season, the wee man. But just in that moment, he just, you know, that injection of that pace, directness, and that I think as John M touches on there, mate, that's what for me James Forrest and Yang do. They are what they call in the type of wingers is what I love, eliminators, and that's how easy they do it. They just stand you up, mate, and you give them a yard and they'll just destroy you because they've got that drop of the shoulder, boom, and it's an injection of pace over 10, 15 yards and they're away. The Yang does it several times, so does Jamesy, but then they switch wings and you kind of see, by that point, mate, you can see the worry on the fullbacks, both fullbacks, at the point that Declan John. Now, for me, Declan John goes off injured because James tied him up nuts. And that's why he's come on, and then they bring the other boy, Tanzer, on, and he's lost. He's like a lost puppy. But Marcus Fraser was in trouble. He was lashing out at Yang. I think it was one of the ones Yang done about 3 of them in the middle of the park. He was going a wee mazy run across the field. And I think it was the boy O'Hara just chops him because he knows what's going to happen. He knows he's in trouble. They're lighting numbers back there, and Yang's already took 2 or 3 of them out of the game just with that couple of moments of quality and skill. So for me, mate, I don't think both players, in terms of Yang and Jamesy, over the last period, or the last couple of games, mate, I don't think they've done themselves any harm by chapping the manager's door and saying, listen, I can do a bit of damage in this cup final.
No, definitely. I think the probably the way I'd like to look at them is they're kind of old-fashioned wingers.
Yeah.
Is Maeda that type of player? Probably not. He's got that pace to beat people, but he's more of a kind of movement player. He's looking for the ball. He's running in behind. You're looking at Kuhn. He's probably relying on he's got pace, but he's relying a bit more on his kind of trickery, etc. But you look at James Forrest, did you see, just kind of standing somebody up, and they're going directly at the player. They're going directly at the fullback, and the majority of times over the last few games, he seems to be beating most of these fullbacks with quite a bit of ease. So yeah, no, I think Yang's done relatively well as well, in comparison to maybe how kind of Kuhn's played the last couple of games. But for me, when you're looking at kind of James Forrest especially, I think he's just outshone most players in that team for the last kind of 3 or 4 games. I think his level, and it happened last year as well at this time of season. I don't know if it just kind of kicks into gear if it comes to April and May, and he's like, I'm feeling something here. I'm just going to rip everybody apart, because he done it last year as well. He got a run in, he got a run in the team last year. So I think I get a lot of people that are saying that James hasn't done enough. But James might not get picked to be Brendan, but I just think he's done plenty to kind of work his way into that team. Whether Yang's done enough, that could be a possibility as well. But I think maybe James is one level up for that on his performances the last few weeks. But we can always see what's going to happen at the weekend. Just hopefully we get that cup in the bag and make it a treble again.
Yeah, John, there is an ongoing issue just now surrounding, you know, the Celtic fans and everything else, and what way they conduct celebrations and stuff. And for the last couple of years now, the Celtic fans have taken over the Trongate down at Glasgow Cross and City Centre. And there's a wee comment for earlier. I just want to get your thoughts on this, and it's from Typhoon McFlustery. He says, "Good evening, lads. Hope you're all well. Do you think we need to introduce a fan zone for next season's title party?" What's your thoughts on that one?
That's a possibility. But, I mean, where do you hold this fan zone? Do you know what I mean? Because you're talking maybe 20 to 25,000 fans. You know what I mean? All conglomerating in a space. You know what I mean? All right, you know yourself, the past couple of years I've took our Glasgow Cross, and there's been a lot of hype about this and that, the next thing, and the mess it leaves and all the rest of it. So really, where would you hold this fan zone?
Well, just as you're saying that, Sligo Boy has commented saying, "Have the party on the Celtic way, get the club to buy Triggers brooms for us to sweep up at the end of it."
I don't know if you fit that many people there, but as well.
Well,
I think kind of Glasgow
I don't
Green
think
or
the
not,
Celtic
but
way.
I don't know.
I don't think the Celtic way would be able to hold that many fans.
And that's how you place it as well.
No, the amount of fans that want to celebrate. You know?
But
There
it
has
just so
been
happens that
Ryan.
on that day there was a load of people kicking about with flutes and all, so it wasn't exactly the ideal planning for any kind of end day in any council or any relative kind of organisation. So with the two kind of things happening over the weekend, there was always going to be some sort of trouble. Any teams that have celebrations like that, you will always get a few that's going to be trouble. It's just trying to kind of find the best way to deal with it. I don't think any of us are going to have the perfect or the magic correct answer. It's just Glasgow Green, possibly.
Well,
It's
Ryan,
policing that as well.
to be fair, lads, Ryan's not with us tonight, but Ryan and myself have chatted about this at length prior to tonight, even before the weekend came. And Ryan says, why wouldn't the club try to do something like, see the way they organise Transmit and have it in an area in Glasgow Green that the way they do Transmit, so that it's well cordoned off. You need a ticket to get there. So whether it be you show your season book in order to enter that bit of the park, somewhere that's organised that the fans can go and have a great day And
A lot
guys
of
like
these things
Shea
take a lot of
Doolan,
planning,
Gary Ogg, people that do the Celtic celebration nights that sing, guys like Liam McGrandles, we could set up like stages. And I know what you're saying, Alan, but if the appropriate planning was put
It
in order.
didn't happen this year, but sometimes it can go to the last day of the season, and these things take like Transmit for tickets and that, and organisation. That's taking best part of a year to organise. So if we won the league with kind of 4 days before the end of the league or something, it's no physically possible to organise
Yeah, I get
anything
that
of that
side.
stature.
I get that side. But this season, I mean, essentially, the
Right.
league's been finished since January. Come on, we've all known it. It's been a foregone
So
conclusion.
would
who was
Celtic
winning that
release
one.
something like that? We all know that, but until it's mathematically done, I think that would be a bit silly of the club to release it and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going to have a party at that." So no matter
So
what
do
the
you.
circumstances, it's going to be extremely difficult if you were thinking of organising something of that stature to do it in that quick a time. I think
So
that's
do you.
probably why the reason why it might not be possible to kind of get down that route. It'd be brilliant if that was feasible to do. It would be a great idea, but I think that kind of idea would probably take months and months of organising, etc. Whereas we might have done it the last day of the season. I know we won with 17 points, but there's every possibility that these leagues could do it the last day of the season, and you don't know who's going to be kind of champions in these days. It's happened years in the past, so it'd be a great idea, but I don't know if it'd be feasible.
Yeah. John, obviously, looking at that perspective that Alan's saying there, overall, I mean, my initial thoughts are, as much as it's great to see and it's colourful, it's green and white, everything's a brilliant day for it weather-wise. A lot of the fans enjoyed themselves. There was bits of trouble now and then, but essentially the businesses in that area, they are the ones that suffer, unfortunately, and I'm afraid they're not going to be wanting that happening every single season. So, like, when yourself, John, when would you say, like, we need to come up with another plan here, because we essentially can't just let people just invade streets every year.
As I say, I would have to be down to like Celtic themselves to sort of organise something. And as Alan says, that takes a bit of organisation. And you don't, but I mean, let's just say, in my opinion, Celtic are going to win the league next season. I don't see it going any otherwise. So Celtic could come up with a plan between now and the end of next season. If, they could get, like you say, a fan zone, i.e. the Glasgow Green, something like that, so that businesses are not going to get affected, badly. And I don't know, has there been businesses like saying that they've been affected badly through this or whatever?
They'll all be shutting their shops. Everybody in that street, they'll all be kind of shutting down.
Yeah, well, they can't have slash and trade and anything, can they? Because I mean, you've seen the way that you've seen the mass of green and white that congregate in the area. So it would be very difficult if, just say, you wanted to go down to Guitar that day and buy something. Really, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be a bit daft to do something like that, knowing that they're going to be there. Do you know what I mean? Because there's going to be. I mean, it's happened for the last couple of seasons, so you're not going to go shopping.
That's how the businesses
are
are
going to go
shopping.
shopping. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but these businesses have got opening hours, so they operate for a certain time. And as Alan says, these places have got to close up.
But how do you stop like 25,000 people invading like Turngate?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's just I mean, if Rangers won the league, how do you stop like their fans invading George Square and wrecking the place?
Stevie's just commented, have it in Bellahouston Park where JP2 held his gig.
Well, right,
the Bellahouston's big enough.
They'll never get near Bellahouston after JP2 was there. Do you know what I mean? So that's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's a non-starter, that one.
Yeah.
Because he blessed that gun, so there's no way they're going to go near it. Do you know what I mean? They'll stay well clear of that. But I could, you know, it's one for the councils and maybe Celtic to get together and say, look, you know, maybe we can hold this event if we win the league whatever season. I.e. Glasgow Green, somewhere like that, and as you said, bringing in, you know, like stages for people to come in and sing and do different things.
Yeah.
Maybe show highlights of the season gone by, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and have beer tents and stuff like that there, you know what I mean. But it's a tough one, really, isn't it? You know what I mean, when you think about it, because how do you tell 25,000 fans that you're not going here or you're not going there? Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. I mean, you know, that was, but for me personally, I just feel, and I went the first year that it's been ongoing now a few years. So I went the very first year that everybody went to Trongate just because it was, you know, it was a new thing. It was, and I haven't been the last couple of years due to other commitments and other things on with my kids and things that I've had on personally. So, it's a great day, don't get me wrong, but I can see the other side of that as well, Alan, in terms of all the businesses and everything else. It does take a massive effect on. And then there's the clean-up job, because not every single fan, I mean, you do see fans helping out, and the ones that are well inebriated and, they don't want to go home now, so they're just got to chip in and lift up a few cans and bottles and start binning them. But unfortunately, mate, there is the side of it that we have seen small videos of the unsavoury scenes, i.e. fans all fighting. And I think there was a lassie, didn't know what she was doing with this rocket and fired it into a crowd as well. I've seen that video as well,
Right.
when a firework explodes in front. So there is things there that within that day in the areas, mate, that do happen that I'm afraid they go against the whole meaning of what that celebration is supposed to be.
Aye, of course, of course there is.
I think we could probably discuss this all night. I don't think there is any easy answer. I can't see anything that's clear that we could do, because as kind of businesses that are losing out, is it the clientele of Celtic fans that we're used to seeing? Possibly, in my opinion, possibly no. It's no. I went to the first season like yourself, JP. Aye, it was all right, but it's starting to get a wee bit out of control, I think, in my personal opinion. But who am I to judge anything? Everybody's entitled to do what they want, and as long as it's kind of abiding by the law. And we live in a democracy in free speech, so aye, it's a difficult one to kind of get an idea of what's the right thing to do. Because I don't think, as I said earlier, I don't think there's enough time to organise anything. I don't think there's a want for the council to organise anything either. So I think it's probably going to continue on like this, and there is some unsavoury kind of scenes that you're seeing that we don't want to kind of be associated with the club, but these are always going to happen when you put that many people and you put alcohol mixed into that. Things like this are always going to happen. So I don't think there is an easy fix, and we'll just kind of need to play it by ear and see what happens.
Yeah, John, thoughts on the squad for coming up against Aberdeen? Do you think Brendan will change much? Do you think he'll go with the same team?
Again, you can never sort of try and think what Brendan's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he totally baffled us with the game against Aberdeen when he changed the whole team. You know what I mean? But I think maybe Saturday was his blueprint for the cup final. You know what I mean? I think maybe that was the team he had in mind. He might change his mind come Saturday. You know what I mean? Like say the way James Forrest and Yang played, he could bring them in, take Kuhn and Ida out the game altogether. But I don't think so. I think maybe he'll stick with the 11 he played on Saturday to be honest, to see how it goes. But for me personally, if he brought in, like, say, Forrest and Yang, I'm saying we're 4-0 up at half time if he brings A2 in.
Yeah,
We're 4-0 up at half time if he brings
I'll
A2
take
in.
1-0 at half time, John. No.
No.
I'll take like
being
the
honest.
last the Aberdeen
I'm only
final
being
with
honest,
Tam
fella.
Rogic.
If he brings in Forrest and
It'll
he
be hard
brings
to
in
watch,
Yang
but that one the last minute with Rogic, I'd take that again.
and plays Maeda through the middle, it takes either out the game. I see Celtic 4-0 up at half time. Easy. Take the game up.
Yeah.
Just take the game away from Aberdeen. Aberdeen are garbage. We've watched them over the last 3-4 weeks. We've took 10 goals off them in 2 games. They get beat 4-0 with that other mob. And then they lost in
or is it beat with Dundee United on Saturday then as well?
That's what I'm saying. They lost on Saturday to Dundee United. So it's not really good reading for Aberdeen to come into a final with Celtic. You know what I mean? Because if Celtic turn up, it could be anything Celtic want it to be.
I
Yeah,
just need to concentrate with us turning up. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Alan. I think,
granted,
as John says here, I definitely think there's a mental thing here, and I've said it on this podcast numerous of times. We killed Aberdeen's momentum when we led them in the League Cup final, when we took 6 off them. For Aberdeen were flying. They came to Celtic Park and they drew 2 each, and they grew confidence for that, getting into that semi-final, lads. And we absolutely annihilated them in that semi. We took them to the cleaners that night, and see, mentally, that done them. That's what killed that flow that they were in and that momentum. Now, you can look back in the season, you can see where that, what I'm saying, and you can see the results after that game. That's when Aberdeen fell off a cliff. Now, mentally,
they went 13 games.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Mentally, that done them. And see, against us, mentally, they're gone. They are gone. See, if you're an Aberdeen, anybody associated with Aberdeen, Alan, getting into that game on Saturday, you don't want that game to come.
No.
You're not looking forward. And by the way, that was Celtic's next string team that went up there, Leonard, just last week. Yeah.
I agree with you, but we still need to be professional and realise that it's not always as simple as that. When you look back at that game at Celtic Park that was 2 each, that we're probably lucky to get through that 2 each as well. They did a disallowed goal that was probably a bit iffy, that maybe should have been allowed. Could have been called either way. So I just think we need to be professional. Just don't take it for granted. Go in, we do our work, make sure we're on it. Make sure that we're doing everything properly, that we're set up well, and the game should take care of itself. For me, I don't think we should be. Well, Brendan will, the coaching team, etc., will be thinking about Aberdeen and giving that information to the players, etc. But I think we just need to concentrate ourselves. We need to make sure that we're on our game, and I think we're showing this season in the league any time that we've been kind of really at it. And if you're not going to be at it for a Scottish Cup final to win a treble, then I'm sorry, you're at the wrong team. So as long as we're at it, as long as we're playing fully to our capabilities and up to the levels and standards that we've shown previously in this season, I think we should be winning this cup final no matter what Aberdeen do.
Of course we should.
See, to be fair, lads, I actually, the way I'm feeling now, and I agree with Francis and what John said there tonight, I actually feel the worst for Aberdeen. I think this could be the most one-sided cup final you've seen in a long time. And if I wouldn't be surprised before Friday, you hear the Celtic fans are going to get offered more tickets. Because if you're an Aberdeen fan, you're not wanting to come to that. You're not coming down for that. As John says, they've conceded 10 goals in 2 games against us, the last 2. Aberdeen had a real chance to finish third in that season. Real chance to finish third. And they absolutely capitulated when they were needed most to do it. Capitulated. So allow me, to turn around and say, I give Aberdeen no chance on Saturday. Celtic are going to come bouncing off that coach. And Aberdeen don't have enough to even beat their second string team, let alone the first.
John, there's a few comments in there. I'm just going to call you Da because there seems like a certain guy that's got an obsession about my bikini line in these comments. So, can I call you Da, please, John? Uncle Da.
Uncle Da. Whatever.
Oh, sorry to get off topic.
Fairer.
Yeah.
Just call me Fairer.
Right.
No, I agree. Listen, I've been 10 goals in 2 games. I don't have any fear. Celtic turn up on Saturday. It's one-way traffic for me. One-way traffic. And if we score 2, 3, maybe 4 goals or 4 off, they just take the game away from them. The game's finished. Half time. Definitely.
100%.
Oh,
I totally agree.
mate.
100%. I totally agree. And I've never been as confident getting into a final as I am getting into this final.
I just don't want to act like that because sometimes it comes back to bite you. And
No, it can do.
that's how I'm just being like, right, steady on.
Listen,
Steady
no,
on
it can
now.
do. It
I think
can
we
do,
will
but
win,
allow
but
me...
don't count your chickens now.
No, but allow me... I'm only going me experience, mate.
No, I know, but you know in your experience that stranger things can happen in football as well, so I'm just kind of... I'm holding the boat now.
Too many... By the way, we've got far too many big game players. We have got far too many big game players to even go there.
Well, I think you're right as well, but I don't want to come out and look silly and if something happens that goes
Not
in
going to look
the
silly.
line, God, it's impossible
Because,
to get beat.
you know, it's a team you support and you've got, you know what I mean, every faith in them. You know what I mean? And the way the way we know they can play. Well, we put Audrey during the week, 5-1. You know what I mean? So, what does that tell you? You know what I mean? And
by the way, nobody can go like that to me.
And that was a makeshift team.
Aberdeen money trying. They're putting their eggs into the basket for a cup final. Absolute nonsense.
No,
they had a chance to finish third and get to Europe.
Of course they did.
Finished fifth in the league. Now, if Celtic go now and slaughter them in this final, and it's 4 at half time, as you said, how's that going to look now on the way they've started this season?
I know. And does Jimmy Tulane keep his job?
By the way, big decision to make. He's rebuilt. They've let him rebuild that full team as well.
Right,
there's a big decision to be made.
Jimmy Neal.
These crocodile shoes.
Crocodile shoes, aye.
100%. But listen, we will touch more on the Aberdeen game as we come into the week. I think the next podcast from tonight will be Thursday morning, so we'll be touching on the Aberdeen game in depth probably then. But thank you very much for your time tonight, John. And
cheers, lads.
Good to get you back on for another wee chat.
No worries.
Cheers, Da.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail, Da.
Cheers. Hail, hail.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Thank you to John for his time, aka Dad. Who was it? It was somebody. I seen one of the comments. I can't remember who it was. Somebody in the comments was digging me up for calling him John. It's called being professional.
That's the.
It's called being professional.
The one that's been digging about my bikini line the whole episode.
It's called being professional. I've not seen any comments about your bikini line, big man. But
he's using a certain other terminology that I'm not allowed to say.
Okay.
It's just the professionalism that I've got.
Okay. There's always one that's got to lower the tone and take it to that next extreme, isn't there? Unfortunately, there's one among us.
The frozen turkey dinosaur.
Aye. He's like plungies eating cold beans. They'll break your teeth, don't eat them like that. They'll break your teeth. That's how he's known it. That's how he doesn't come on that. He doesn't come on the dialing because he's eating frozen turkey drummers. And he's got the teeth flit methadone Mick before he goes for the up.
That's no my glass eye, that's a gobstopper.
He's one of your mates. You can go like that. Want to keep an eye on my pint? He does it literally.
Aye.
Puts it in the pint for you when we go to the toilet. Brilliant. No, as I say, mate, look, it's been a good chat tonight.
We're only joking about that.
It's been a good chat tonight. Looking back on Saturday, obviously, because I've always said that, Alan, you certainly don't take things like that for granted, mate. And to watch us one and another 4 in a row has just been nothing short of remarkable, mate.
No, as I said at the start of the programme, when you look at the league, you look at winning the League Cup, whether that be in penalties or not. Final of the Scottish Cup and progression within the new format of European competition. I think there has been spells in the season that we've possibly underperformed, but when you take all of that into consideration, the facts of the matter is we're on route for a domestic treble, and we've done better than we've done in previous years in Europe. So it's definitely progression this year. What?
Your 6th treble in the last 9 years, mate.
So it's definitely a successful season, and what makes it all the more successful is that I'd probably say for a good 2/3 to 3/4 of the season, I don't think we've hit the heights that we've shown. I think a lot of these games that we've been capable of far better than we've shown.
I think a lot of our games,
that's
mate,
right.
we've not even got out of second gear. We've not
So
a lot of our games as well in the season. We've not got out of second gear, and we've done the damage pretty quickly.
So with the prospect of kind of Brendan investing in the club investing in the team and Brendan kind of coaching them, that was improving again this close season. If we can qualify for the Champions League again, I think we're going to be very, very difficult to stop domestically, and just let's hope we can keep improving year on year.
Yeah, 100%. G-Doc just says there, Aberdeen are due to beat us in one of them. It'll not be Saturday, mate. I'm telling you now, it won't be Saturday. I'm not even a betting man, and it won't be Saturday. That Aberdeen team, especially, like I say, they're mentally gone. So the Celtic second string team went up there and leathered them 5-1 last Wednesday night. You're bringing the first team squad to, let's just say, the hunger and desire that this team have got to continue to churn out, getting to finals. And this Celtic side under Brendan Rodgers, in my opinion, only going to get to the final and then fought the last hurdle. They're just not going to do it. If they were going to do it, they'd have done it before.
Don't jinx us, right?
Oh no! Listen, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to give my opinion of this Celtic side, and
I agree, but I'm still trying to keep steady-headed or level-headed.
They are built to win, and they've got a guy in Callum McGregor who, I mean, Casper Schmeichel, guys that know how to get over that line, and there's too many big game players in this Celtic team. So for me, plenty more records and history to be broken and everything else. So I really can't see it. But as Alan says, I don't like to jinx it too much, but I've never been so confident going into this game on Saturday. But we'll touch more on that. Like I says, we'll be back on Thursday, guys. It'll be Thursday morning. The good man Ryan will be back with us from sunny Benidorm. And Alan, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. If he surfaces, we asked him numerous times a day, are you sure you'll be all right for that? Because I think it's not a Wednesday night or something. He returns back, so we all kind of suffer for relative hangovers, but I think Ryan's one that kind of he takes it beyond that. So
he said that, didn't he? He said that.
He says definitely. So I'll take away his word to know, but.
Just hope Sticky
hope he's having a cracking time, and I hope he's got another couple of days yet. So we'll hopefully we'll see him Thursday morning, and he's no kind of his face planted on the table next to the camera.
Aye, and he's not got a sticky Vicky nookie badge on his neck.
He's no doing the half 10 show with Kenneth de Becker at Benetton.
Aye. Oh, tremendous, man. He man's getting my back on a Benidorm taxi. Tremendous. But,
Comes back dressed up as Leslie at a Benetton. Champion.
Aye.
Oh.
Him and Miller are looking for a Doves, isn't he?
The Doves, the birds.
That's one of the best episodes of that programme ever, man. The Doves. He's giving them €50. Oh, brilliant, man. Tremendous. But good man, Ryan. Be good to see you and your home, me, man. But thank you very much for everybody that's tuned in with us on this Monday evening. Cheers again to the two callers that's come in tonight. Giving us your thoughts on the game on Sunday, I was going to say, Saturday. And we look forward to the next chat, which is on Thursday, as I said, for the game coming on Saturday for the Cup final. But, Alan, cheers for your time, mate. Massive hail.
Hail.
And we'll see you all again on Thursday, guys. Take care.
Yeah.